So after making the last video, I started obsessing over wand making and flashlights and acrylic tubes and what else I could use, and just that's how the brain works as far as the idea machine. And I found a couple of really good flashlights. This one is a Through Night TI2, and it works off of a single AAA battery, and it's ridiculously super bright. Dare say even brighter than the mag lights. The other one is the Trustfire Mini 3. And this one actually uses a 10440, which is a lithium ion battery, except for it's 3.7 volts instead of 1.5. And it's, again, same size as the AAA, but ridiculously bright. Just to give you a comparison, yeah. You can see it's like way brighter than the other one, but at the same time, this one is still even brighter than the mag lights and stuff. So I'm gonna try to use these for making wands. And I got some more 6mm in. I got some 12mm, and I have some more 8mm left. I actually have one of these, which is a 1-inch acrylic sphere. So I figure maybe I can do the Lumos from like the movies. When you needed a prop, they had a ball at the end of it to help diffuse the light. So I thought maybe I could use that, maybe get some more light out of it or whatever. Also, I have some 6mm acrylic rod, or acrylic, no, I lost my train of thought. 6mm fiber optic, which is really good because this kind of solves the problem that we were having with the green crap, was that it'll actually be just as bright regardless of how you bend it. Wow, this is getting pretty damn hot. It'll carry the light regardless of how you bend it and stuff, so this would be good for like making the bent wand. And for rigidity, I have some of this stuff, which is just some clear ABS, and it fits perfectly inside that. So I can put the fiber optic inside here and then heat it and then bend it however I want to, and it'll still be just as bright. So instead of doing I'm going to show you how to do it, I'll just piecemeal it and show you when I get another update. Okay, so I got my 3 stalks made up. I'm going to go with 3 wands this time. One is going to be crooked and all bendy and stuff, and it lights up just fine with the brighter light and stuff, so that looks great. And by the way, it looks really cool on the side too, because the whole thing glows. I got a weird one. I'm going with a forked thing. It kind of looks like a Mando rifle, only smaller, and that was unintentional, but once I saw it, you can't really unsee it, but whatever. That one lights up pretty well. I even put some color filter in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of color filter in there too, and it covers up the seam between 2 of the fiber optics, and that's going to be like a dragon heart string core. Oh, and by the way, this one is going to have kind of a cool core too, because when I cut some of the layering off of it, it created, oh, there's no way you're going to see that. So when I was cutting some of the shrouding off of it, I cut a little line down the middle of it, and what that did was kind of make it look like there is a single hair going through it. So I think I'm going to call that one a unicorn hair, and then I'll leave a little window so that you can see it. And then this one, I'll show you with the brighter light, not that it really makes much of a difference on camera, but that one, and I noticed that right here is actually bright as, if not brighter, than the ball. This is straight, by the way. You can't really tell with the light on, but it's straight, but once the light gets on it, it flares out, and it's kind of a funny effect. Next thing I'm going to do is attach it to the flashlights, and one thing that I'm going to do different is I'm going to use some clear UV resin. What that has advantage-wise over the 2-part epoxy is that the 2-part epoxy actually blocks out a tiny bit of light, and this actually dries super clear and super hard, and you can control the curing with UV light. So that I'm going to try just to attach it to there, but then I'll still use the 2-part epoxy to secure the base a little bit better, if that makes sense. Okay, see you in a little bit. Alright, now that they're all glued up and secured, and I got the extensions glued on. By the way, I had to glue extensions on because the flashlights themselves were pretty short. Also, I took the ball off of the tip of this one just because I thought that was kind of stupid that it was brighter here than it was on the actual ball. And then I put the ball on the end of here. I cut out some spaces on the wands themselves so that you can actually see the core. I guess that's kind of a callback to my lightsaber days, so you can see the crystal. But I doubt that you can actually see that. You can sort of see it. A little bit of red in there for the dragon heart string. But yeah, now I'm going to wrap it up. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Thinking about maybe putting some knuckles so that this can be like, kind of like a bird foot or something like that. But just to give it some reason why it's forked. But I don't know. It'll all sort of come out when I start taping everything up. So we'll see. So now that they're covered in foil tape, it's starting to become a little bit more clear on what they are going to end up looking like. This one in particular ends up looking a lot like the failed green one, except for the fact that it actually works, and you can see the light pretty well too. So, but it's a little bit bigger, but it will mimic the twig fairly well. This one looks like a carving fork, and you know, like Thanksgiving and stuff, but I thought it would be kind of a cool idea to have, you know, two lights coming off the end of it, but you know, just as a really weird idea. But unfortunately I had to make it to realize why people shouldn't make this because it looks like a carving fork. Oh well, live and learn. This one actually turned out pretty well. This is the 10440. Weird thing that I did on the back is I just cut it at an angle just because I couldn't figure out what to do. This one has the ball pommel because of the fact that it's got that front heavy end. This one doesn't really have too much, so this one I figure we go minimalist. I tapered it a little bit so that kind of looks like a gumdrop. Yeah, this one is going to be super, super bright. And for comparison, this is the 1.5 volts and this is a 3.7 volts. Now I guess I'll paint them. Okay, be back in a second. Well, they actually turned out a lot better than I expected, especially seeing as how the turkey carving fork thing it was a little too obvious. So I kind of chopped it off to make it look like a fire poker, I guess. And I changed the color scheme. I was going to go with a lighter wood, like birch bark or something like that. And then I thought maybe we can make it into a bird foot. And then I was just, you can't get over the forked look. So I cut one of the tines off and kind of went with a little bit of a steampunk theme. Fortunately, like when you put on the oxidization, I don't know if you can see the oxidization and stuff. Once you put that on, it really sells steampunk theme, especially seeing as how it's on like a brass color and a copper color. And then I went with, what's the word I'm looking at? Bronze. I went with a bronze on the center here. So I spread out the oxidization throughout the whole thing. It's surprisingly really, really bright compared to the other flashlight that I used. This one was the True Night, and compared to the other one, which was the curved one, this actually turned out a lot brighter. I took 2 strands of 2mm fiber optic and then stuck it in one of the 6mm tubes so that it would feed up to about here, and then from there it split off into those brass tubes. I just cut one of them off and then left a little nub there so that you could see some of the light. I'm very happy with how this looks. Some good projection, so when you're in like a dark room you'll actually be able to light something. So that was kind of the intent with all this. This one is basically the makeup for the failed green acrylic, and I just wanted to be able to say that I've done a successful twig-like Lumos wand. Yeah, not much to say about this one. I just went with, again, the twig look, so I hit it with a base coat of brown and then a dry brush of reddish brown, a dry brush of really, really light brown, which is almost white, possibly even a khaki. Yeah, looks good. It's not enough to light up a dark bathroom or something, but whatever. I covered up the little windows and stuff just because that is cool in theory, but this platform is entirely too small to accommodate that kind of thing. I mean, it looks cool, and I did get some cool shots of it so that you can actually see what looks like a illuminated hair inside of this thing. But yeah, having an open window on this didn't really seem to work. And if anything, since the side was open, it was this big, huge, giant light panel that was spitting out light. Same thing with the Dragonheart string, or what I was thinking could have been a Dragonheart string. It didn't look right, even though it was like, you know, this illuminated red thing, white light out the front. I mean, it just, again, it was good in theory, but not very good in practice. Either way, again, they look cool on the outside, I think. All right, this one is the 10440. So this one is really super bright. Overall look on this one is, again, some wood-ish looking. The end here, I wrapped it with hemp twine, and then I wrapped it with the aluminum tape, and then I painted over the hemp twine to the same colors. It kind of fit with the same finish as everything else, because otherwise it would just be the hemp twine, and hemp twine is not very comfortable to hold on to as a grip because it pokes you all over the place, and it's rough and it's coarse and it gets everywhere. But this, since it's covered with the tape, it's nice and smooth, but at the same time, you know, it's still at the ridges, so that you give it a brown wash, and it kind of makes it look like it's wrapped. So either way, it feels good, and gives you some nice grippiness for when you need to light something up, like, you know, an old cave looking for horcruxes and stuff. But so yeah, those are the 3 new wands. They all work. They're all very bright. And yeah. Okay, see you later.